Welcome to episode 7 of the Dirty Kim Bassett podcast.
Who are you?
Can't remember. Who are you?
Where are we?
I'm Tony. And this is my esteemed colleague and friend, Ben.
7 episodes in.
I know, I wasn't sure we were going to do 7.
These are racking up quick, aren't they?
Aren't they? Yeah. So...
And I'm struggling with fame a bit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Have you got fame?
I've been approached, I was at work, and somebody walks in and goes, "Oh, I've just been listening to you in car."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So that must be 3 listeners now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To be honest, I have yet to be recognised in the supermarket or in the street yet. Although I do blame the masks we're all wearing at the moment.
That must be what it is.
That's what it is.
Clearly.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I want people recognising me in the street.
No, I can imagine that's quite annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. We might have to redesign our cartoons, put like curly moustaches on them, and
Mine looks not like me. It looks a bit fat.
it does look like you, mate. It's like a photograph. That spavined look. They've captured it down to a T. Well, let's kick off. I've got a news story for you. It's only a brief one. It's from Atlanta, Georgia. So, what do they get up to in the deep south, eh? Let me just find this.
My wife's my sister.
Well, you're on the same kind of lines here.
Go on. While you search for it, I've just remembered now what my man said to me when he said, "I've been listening to you in car."
Okay.
And it might be a bit bigged up, this.
Go on.
I've listened to your entire back catalogue.
Have we got a back catalogue?
That's it. That's the one. It tickled me.
Did he enjoy it?
Yeah, he seems to listen to every episode.
If he's listened to every one, then he must.
He's listened
must
to our
like it.
entire back
Yeah,
catalogue.
like other than, as opposed to your mate that says, "I don't think you're going to get very far with knob jokes."
Yeah, I need to give him a prod, actually.
I need to give him a kick up the backside and take him out into the car park and administer the shoeing that his flippancy merits.
Go on, have you found your Deep South
I have,
reading,
Deep South.
My wife's my sister.
It's from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm just going to read the headline. There's actually a photo as well. It's a shame we're audio only here. Woman goes blind after syphilis-ridden brother pranks her with facial cum shot. Atlanta, Georgia. An Atlanta woman has lost 90% of the eyesight in one of her eyes after her brother ejaculated in her face in what was meant to be a practical joke. That's all we have. So let's discuss.
What?
You've got a sister, Ben.
Oh, dude, yeah, she'd probably not be impressed with that.
I wouldn't imagine so. I didn't even know you could catch syphilis that way. Can you catch sexually transmitted diseases through the eyes?
Taking one in eye.
Well,
clearly you can.
Has she caught it, or has it just had effects?
Oh, hang on. Are they just claiming it were in her eye? Because they definitely haven't had sex.
I don't know. Because yeah, it's one of those things. Blindness does go with it, doesn't it?
Don't know.
Destroys part of the brain. Any doctors able to clarify? Email in dirtykimbasser@gmail.com asking for a friend.
And then ask yourself a question: if you've got a doctorate, what the hell are you doing listening to this?
What is that? But what the fuck's he doing? Knocking one out in his sister's face? That's a strange enough thing to do, isn't it? You know.
Weird.
I mean, who's the strangest person you've knocked one out over, Ben?
It's one of them lost for words thing, isn't it? You think, well, how, who?
I can't. But to send your sister, like, this is awful. I bet mum and dad are happy. And mum and dad and auntie and uncle probably. Or the same people.
They are, yeah. I suppose in family ties like that, you're going to annoy less people.
Yeah, that's Anyway, that was my little brief.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I had a news one. I'm going to have to turn my phone on to find it.
We are crap, aren't we?
We're shit, like we're not organised this week.
I tell you, once this lad from the regiment I was in the army got a dishonourable discharge, and he worked in what we call the LAD, the Light Aid Detachment. So he was Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. He fixed the Land Rovers and stuff like that. And they were attached to our regiment. I don't know what had gone on, but there was some nastiness involving a young girl. And he was dishonourably discharged from the army. It was looking like he was going to end up in jail. And we had to escort him off camp But before we went, he had some important stuff in his locker in the garages where all the mechanicking went on. So we had to escort him there to empty his locker.
Right.
And I didn't know where to look. There was a blonde wig. There was like false nails. There was lipstick. There was all kinds of like weird pornography and things like that. What he actually wanted were his wallet with his credit cards in it, you know.
So he left your costume.
And he left everything else, but the lad who I was with, when we had to escort him off camp into the hands of the military police, was there, and he says, well, that were a posh wank Colin, wasn't it? Go on, you found your story.
Go on then, while you were prattling on, you'll like this. Woman fined after walking husband on a lead and telling police he was a dog.
Okay. Whereabouts is this? Do we know?
A woman in Canada has been fined for breaking a COVID curfew by walking her husband on a lead.
Where was this? And
Quebec.
is it the lead that breaks the COVID curfew or the walking?
When stopped by police, she claimed that her partner was in fact a dog, according to local media. So I'm guessing you're allowed to walk your pet by yourself, but you're not allowed to go out together, is what this was.
Well, do they not live together?
Well, you would think so.
I don't know.
Anyway.
They're obviously like on familiar terms if she's got him on a fucking lead.
Yeah. Maybe they don't live together and there was some kind of... Cause we've said boyfriend, don't we? But anyway.
Maybe.
Let's
yeah.
see. On Saturday, Quebec said that people would have to stay indoors between 8 and 5 in a bid to halt the spread of coronavirus.
Bloody French Canadians, aren't they? That's it.
However, dog walkers are allowed to be outside during this time in an exception to the rules. Police spotted the pair in Sherbrooke at around 9 p.m, just after the rules took effect. Both of them were fined $1,546 Canadian, despite claiming they were acting within the rules for pets.
It is a...
See, this isn't a spur at moment thing, is it? It's
they
got
thought about
planning
this,
into this.
yeah,
You don't just pull a collar out your pocket and go, "It's me dog."
To be honest, it's a weak defence, isn't it? You know, it's...
Isabel Grendon of the Sherbrooke Police Department told La Tribune they did not cooperate with the police at all, and the woman said she would not pay the ticket. The paper said that in the evening from Saturday to Sunday, 19 tickets for breaching the curfew were issued.
19 in Quebec.
19. I don't think they were all
Quite a big city, Quebec, isn't it?
walking their husbands, though.
No, but...
Weird bastards.
Yeah, but...
You fancy a walk? Yeah, but we'll get caught. Tell you what.
Put that lead on.
Put that collar and lead on.
Yeah.
You go round on all fours. Well, were they on all fours? I don't know.
Were
they just walking in front
I'm assuming not. I'm assuming he didn't have like some kind of
I think
like
if he were on all fours,
waggy tail
that'd
butt
have
plug or something like that. You know.
that would have meant that he'd have committed and police had let it go.
I'm not judging. I'm weird myself. I don't think this warrants a dirty Kimbassa round of applause though.
No.
This is a fine cup of coffee you've made me, Ben.
It's lovely, isn't it? Oh yeah,
We're
getting some mugs made.
Yeah, with our faces on.
Yeah, we'll have some mugs, and if we get a good story, we'll send them out to people. Really good stories.
I notice your mug says Earl Grey on it. Now, Earl Grey is
met him.
the witch's piss of tea, isn't it? It's crap. You know, it's not like a proper Taylors of Harrogate Yorkshire tea.
I was just going to say, there's Yorkshire tea
and there's
shite. Incorrect.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I dated a pretty girl not that long ago. I dumped her actually because she pissed me off. And to be honest, the fact that she liked Earl Grey tea and got me to get some Earl Grey in, which is still in its box, sealed, never been touched.
Where it should remain.
Yeah. But I'm too tight to throw it out.
Oh, yeah.
Earl Grey, it's weird, and I notice your mug says Earl Grey on, and I have to. Oh, mine does too. I have to question why. Here we go. Earl Grey to start the day. Green tea, organically grown. I assume these were cheap.
This is me you're talking to. They were probably at IKEA.
Oh, right.
Like £1 a dozen, you know. I think I had something about being tight.
You are tight. Nah, you're not. I am.
Are you this tight?
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
One Christmas, we did proper turkey.
All right.
You know, big as your oven, you know, one of them. End of Christmas Day, it wouldn't fit in fridge really. It was just full of stuff. So it's freshly cooked, isn't it? So put it in microwave and shut door. and at least then it's covered, isn't it? So we did that. Boxing Day, I want to fancy a warm turkey sandwich. Let's get it used up. So I got it out. I'll just microwave a bit of turkey to warm it up. Microwave dies. It's Boxing Day, so you're not replacing it at Boxing Day. So, bit of a sulk on. Put turkey back on plate, covered it up, put it back in microwave.
Gotta eat it cold.
27th, next day, we went out and I bought a new microwave. Come home, get it all out of packaging, packed it up, put it on the unit where old one went. Job's a good one. It's tip open today. Yeah, it is. Down to tip, microwave and electrical items thing, Plonked it in there, came back home. Right, I'm going to have a turkey sandwich now, like I planned. Turkey's only an old fucking microwave down at tip.
Did you go back and get it?
I went back and got it. Fucking right, I did.
Yeah, I'd have gone back.
I drove back down, couple of miles down to the tip. Microwave hadn't moved when I left it.
Yeah.
Opened door, got my turkey out, walked back to the car with it. Much to amusement of all lads in that work at tip.
Yeah, I'd have done the same. There's no way, because I bought what was described as a medium-sized turkey this Christmas, because obviously with all the things going on at the moment, we were all having Christmas dinner at home. Kids were around at mine and stuff, so I got a medium-sized turkey. Well, on Christmas Day, we didn't eat a quarter of it.
They're quite a size, aren't
they? They are, so there's no way I would have thrown away that much food. Yeah, I agree with you. That's not tight. That's just that's just ordinary.
Well, let's face it, it were only there 20 minutes or so,
And because it's winter, isn't it? It's not like it's July.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double cooked then, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, a bit well hung.
Well, yes, yeah.
Like us, allegedly.
Been peeping. Funny story that went with motorbike though. Showed it our lass. Says, oh, look, I like this. Now, I know I could buy anything.
Yeah.
And as long as the food's on table and built, she's not bothered. But I'll tell you why. Is because last year when I was looking through auctions for that at that Enfield, there was a tank, right?
I'd like a tank.
And I says to her, I've just placed a bid on this on our highest bidder. As a bit of a piss take. Let's see what her response was. And she shocked me. Because she said, oh, cool!
Hey!
Where are we going to put it?
Winner! Worry about that later.
Yeah. So, I'd not bid on this tank. But for my wife to say that.
That's great, yeah.
Oh, cool, where are we going to put it?
I quite fancy a tractor. I'd quite like like an old tractor, the old cabless ones that just had like a little iron seat on back.
Yeah.
Just as a bit of a project, a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Like I quite fancy one of them,
Where are you going to put it?
I find somewhere.
So, yeah, in response to the tank then, cool, where we're going to put it. I'm thinking, well, the motorbike's nothing, is it? That's fine.
Yeah, go for it.
She goes, I don't really like motorbikes. She's not
into it.
She's not bothered.
Not interested.
Not interested at all.
No. Well, but I'd quite like a tank, but I just know that I'd crush all neighbours' cars.
Now, something we mentioned as we were chatting before we started recording. Chappers.
Oh, aye, my mate.
Stuff we like the idea of.
Yeah.
Beekeeping is one of them.
See, I quite like the idea of beekeeping, but not getting stung.
Yeah.
Having bees in my underpants.
See, we bought some books and had a read up on it,
Yeah.
I quite fancy that. I was actually thinking of putting them up on roof there. Plenty greenery around here. They'd work it out. And I started looking at price of beehives. I joined a
Don't you make them?
Yeah,
you can make them.
Yeah, and I started joining Facebook groups, and people were on about how they've lost 2 of 3 colonies over winter.
What, 2?
Just cold and...
Really?
Yeah, and not really knowing what it's for, why they've lost them.
Do they move out or do they just die off?
They just seem to die, and the bees can have honey inches away from them, and yet they don't go and eat it and use it, and they just starve to death. So there's all this random shit. So I said to Alice, why do you want to keep bees? And she says, to have cheap honey, good honey.
Yeah.
And I said, well, reading into it,
it's not going to be
think
cheap.
we like the idea of it a lot more than we'd like doing it.
Yeah, I think
because
there's a lot.
I says, are you going to harvest this honey? She says, no, you're going to do that. Yeah, all right. So I'm going to do your hobby for you to get this honey. That,
well, I kept chickens for a couple of years, and I'm going to be honest, I enjoyed it. I like keeping chickens. I like having the lovely fresh eggs, different varieties of eggs from different breeds, different colours. It was nice.
Yeah.
They're a big commitment.
Yeah.
You've got to put them to bed at night, keep foxes off. You've got to let them out in the morning, and they want to get up early.
A lot earlier than you.
You know, especially in summer when when they start laying. We're not talking 6, we're talking 4. You know, they want to be up, and then I started having complaints and with neighbours and things like that, and it became one of those things where it was just a lot of hard work and things like that, which was a shame because the actual chicken keeping side of it I liked. You know, I liked having my little girls. I named all the chickens after my aunts. I've got a few aunties.
You've said that on another podcast, I think, yeah.
I think I might have done, yeah. It were nice. I liked it, and it's a shame. It's probably something I might do again, but probably not where I live now.
Yeah.
You know, that was the location was the problem.
Once you go off the grid.
Yeah, once I live in Wales somewhere, then it's not a problem.
You mentioned the light thing at 4 in the morning. As a kid, one of my memories is my dad putting me in chicken shed in the middle of the day and saying, "Where can you see light coming from?" Because he was proper blacking it out so that they didn't crow at crack of midnight, you know, during June, I suppose it'd be longest day. Yeah. Yeah, and he had a chicken shed with a fully removable lid. To me, it seemed massive. It was probably not that
well,
big.
I mean, I did have a rooster for a while, but I rehomed him because obviously neighbours were not going to be happy with that.
Yeah.
It was one we had from a young'un, and you don't know sometimes. Some breeds you can sex early on, and others you can't.
Yeah.
When I say sex, I mean identify what sex it is.
We're not going to this Georgia thing again.
Yeah. So, and he started crowing, but I did actually have a little canvas watch strap around his neck for a while, which helped. Now the way they crow, they inflate their neck. And it's resonate. It's like air, you know, like a guitar strings, and it resonates in the air in that chamber. Well, that's how their crow kind of works. So by restricting, and you weren't throttling the chicken, you just had this thing loosely around its neck.
You weren't choking the chicken.
But you just had basically a band around his neck, and you can buy Velcro collars for roosters,
right?
And it doesn't hurt them at all, which, you know, because at first I thought, oh, that's a bit tight, like restricting, but you're not strangling it. All you're doing is you're stopping it inflating its neck, so it can still crow, but the crow is like a quarter of the decibels that the full, because there's you know, and that's one thing.
We're good educational after
it's still annoying. So.
On my list of things, like the idea of scuba diving. I really like the idea of being there down in the ocean. I just know I'd fucking drown.
Why?
Because I think it's because I'm asthmatic. When I get the slightest bit of spit at the back of my throat, I start coughing.
Okay.
And I need my inhaler, it brings my asthma on.
Right.
So if you do that down there, and it's not just a bit of spit down there, is it? It's the entire ocean.
Well, that's if you do it in ocean. I mean, there's a club not so far from here that do it. They go in like lakes and reservoirs and all sorts. But the thing that put me off is like scuba diving on telly around Greek islands with some young lass in a bikini. Yeah, sounds good to me. The reality, we live in northern England. Scuba diving in a reservoir where water temperature's probably like 1 degree.
Yeah.
So you've got to have dry suits, wet suits, all gear to stop you getting hypothermia. You get down into murky, muddy water. It's not blue tropical. At best, you're going to see a brown trout. It's hardly some kind of angelfish, is it? You know, it's just not the same, is it? We live in wrong countries. Like, I mean, with our motorbiking, you know, we've seen Easy Rider with their air flowing and the sunglasses on and high handlebars. Our reality is that we've got lots of jumpers on, long johns,
many layers,
you know, and there's helmet laws in this country.
Yeah.
So
spoils my hair, does that?
Yeah.
Another one, my kids. This one is pointed at a tortoise. They talk from about October through to Christmas. We want a tortoise. I like pets. Yeah, great. But they want fresh veggies every day. That's sorting out. And who's going to do that? It's not going to be kids, is it?
No, that's the same with any pet, innit?
Yeah.
You know, a fish. Kids, oh yeah, Dad, we'll promise we'll look after it.
Yeah.
It ends up being Dad. But, to be fair, now, I did have a tortoise.
So did I, actually, yeah.
He was called Crush.
Crush.
What had happened is, one of my aunts and her kids had it, and like kids just stopped bothering with it.
Yeah.
They got fed up of it. Well, because it didn't do a right lot. It's like having a pet rock.
Yeah, but yeah.
So they asked us, do you fancy a tortoise? Yeah, all right, we fancy a tortoise. So we got this tortoise, and it has like a wooden box that it lives in and stuff. But we used to let it run around the house, because to me, it's not fair to just keep an animal in a box all the time.
Yeah.
I was worried about it. Something I didn't predict were cat were trying to claw it all the time. Right. So that were a pain in the arse, having to watch cat all the time. And little un were running around house all the time. And I was just cringing, thinking any minute she's going to stamp.
Crush.
You know, like she's not going to see it. And because it will, you know, they're quite discreet. They don't make a sound, do they? And things. And I just didn't want him to get hurt. So I put some feelers out, and we rehomed him with a bloke that kept a number of tortoises.
Yeah.
So he had like little tortoise friend and stuff. So
I managed to get out of this one by saying to the lads, go do some research and read up on it and find out what you need, which they did. They were keen on that, and then they went shopping online to have a look for what things had cost. And these enclosures aren't cheap. I didn't tell them we could make one cheap. These enclosures aren't cheap, and then heat mat and all other stuff that goes with it. And I said, when you get your Christmas money, you'll be able to club together. If you're both clubbing, you'll be able to afford that.
Yeah.
And once they got the money, they thought, but putting all of it into a tortoise is a bit much, you know, because by the time you've bought your tortoise and your enclosure and everything, you were looking at pushing £300.
Oh, yeah.
And that talked them out of it for me, so that were good.
I know when we were children, we got some pet terrapins in a little tank. Seemed like a nice idea. My dad got a bit of tongue and groove floating on top, so they had like a bit of island to climb onto.
Yeah.
And they were quite cute little things, really, in an odd way. We had them a couple of days, and my dad had done some research and things like this, and found out that you could get salmonella from them or other kind of bacterial infections and things. And of course, we were picking them up and kissing them, and so he took them back to the shop.
Right.
We were a bit gutted, to be honest, as kids, because we're not very old then. We were only little. So yeah.
I had some terrapins as a kid, very similar, and they're only 4 centimetres across when they're little babies. And we were fishing. I was fishing with my dad, and there was this guy. We got chatting. I got some terrapins. This guy says, "I've got 5 I'm giving away because I'm emigrating." All right. And he gave us these 5 terrapins, a tank and everything. And biggest one were a foot.
Really?
Front of its shell at back.
Ours were like.
And it were fucking brutal.
Tiny. Ours were little.
This thing were old, you know, get on a bit. Anyway, kept them for a while, but it were quite obvious that this 4-foot tank that he'd been keeping them in weren't anywhere near big enough.
There's a pond for that, don't you?
Yeah. So we donated them to Manor Heath, you know, that tropical thing. We donated them to that. And I think they might be still there because they live forever. Like a tortoise, don't they? Live forever.
Tortoises live a long time, don't they? Yeah.
So they may well still be there, but there's quite a few in there now. There's probably 30 or 40 big ones in there that people have donated.
I've never been in. I've been to that one at Leeds.
Tropical World.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a mini version of that.
Right, I'll have to go and have a look. I didn't. But it won't be open at the moment, will it?
Probably not.
No. So yeah. Interesting.
Another one I liked idea of doing, because I like tinkering with stuff, mechanicking things. I've got a Mitsubishi GTO, and it needed a timing belt doing. And I thought, I had a look at a video. Look, 8-minute video, like piece of piss this, you know. So I justified buying an impact driver. And I had all read all reviews, and I thought, I'm just going to get a snap-on one.
A decent one. Good gear. So you're spending a couple of £100 here?
390 quid for this thing. But I thought, get job done costs 300 quid. If I buy this snap-on impact driver, 390, I've only spent 90 quid more, and I've got an impact driver that's to keep forever. So I bought it, and I bought it winter time. I thought, I'll just wait till spring comes before I work on the driveway all day on the car. Yeah, okay, that came, spring came. Impact driver's not strong enough to undo main crank nut.
Oh.
But it's 4 or 5 months since I bought this impact gun now, so you can't really return it, you know. So, alright, give battery a charge and, you know, get it fully ready. Sat there, 3 minutes. Gun's smoking, you know, that's not coming undone. So I paid £300 to have job done.
Oh, that's life, isn't it?
And I've got this lovely impact gun that I don't really need, but I make a point of using
Have
it all
you
the
used
time.
it now and again?
Yeah.
I've got one. I don't use it very often.
With a spanner had done, but I've used it just to make a point of
Mine
using
not a
it.
snap-on one, though, you posh bugger.
It was posh, it were a bit extravagant. But
Right.
Cheeky thing with Snap-on Man, though, is he says to you, interest-free for 12 months.
Man with snap-on van. Yeah, I've met him.
He'll have your pants down.
Going on to our recent faux pas in a previous episode, where I said strap-on instead of snap-on. Let's go to a little story now.
Your Freudian slip.
Yeah,
That's
my
what
Freudian slip. You may be aware, I've bought a pickup truck for work. It's going to pay for itself. That's my plan. Been doing little jobs and bits of it. But the problem is, when you've got a big truck and your friends find out you've got a big truck, you get asked to do a lot of favours, don't you? Oh, Tony, can you move this wardrobe for me? Oh, Tony, can you take this out? Will you run us to such a... Oh, yeah. Anyway, young friend of mine. I'm going to name her. I'm going to name and shame her. Name and shame. Caitlin. I hope you're listening, Miss O'Grady. Caitlin, lovely lass. She's been living with a friend, okay? And their relationship has broken down. For whatever reason, none of my business. But I get a phone call one day. Listen, Tony, I'm moving out of my mate's house, my mate's place. I'm going to live with another friend. We've arranged it all. I just need to move my stuff. Any chance you can come over and help me in pickup truck? Well, I'm at work now, but I can do it after work. Yeah, okay. Of course, it's winter. By the time I finish work, it's dark. So I go pick her up, go to this place. Everything's been bagged up by her friend. All of her worldly belongings.
Like in spite.
You know, and to be fair, she didn't have a right lot because she kind of lives on the move, like, you know. So we weren't talking like a full house move, but young person's lifestyle. You know, we got the contents of your shed kind of into my pickup truck, and it was all in the flimsiest, cheapest black bin bags going. As we were carrying them, they were all overfilled. The bags were tearing and bursting. So we got all the stuff in the back of the truck, in the back seat of the crew cab, full with these black bin bags and things like that. We got to where she'd moved to with another friend of ours. Unloaded it at the other end. Right, not a problem. Looks in the back. Yep, that seems to be everything. You know what I'm saying? So, right, I'm going to get back for it, kids. I'll see you guys later. You don't want a coffee? No, I'm off away. Anyway, I opened my driver's side door and saw something big and pink on the rubber mat on the driver's footwell.
What was it, Caitlin?
It was the biggest strap-on dildo I've ever seen in my life. It actually shamed me. It made me feel inadequate. So I didn't know what to bloody do with this. I mean, I didn't want to embarrass her. Because that's for now.
So you didn't want to embarrass her.
I didn't want to embarrass her at the time.
You've changed your tune since that day.
But so I went and knocked on, and of course it wasn't Caitlin answered the door. It was her friend. So I said, "Oh,
please tell me you'd put it on."
Is Caitlin there? I hadn't put it on. I had it under my jacket. You know, like a kind of dodgy drug deal. And she says, "Oh no!" I said, "Oh, go get her." Anyway, Caitlin goes, "What's the problem?" And I just opened my jacket, like, she's like, "Oh," you know. I was like, "So there we go." So yeah, let's embarrass her. So obviously that had rolled out of one of the bags, rolled under the seat, and ended up
nearly written off your car.
Well, there we go. To be honest, don't know what she does with it because she's only a tiny girl. But
like a door prop or something.
Jesus,
draft excluder.
Like a bloody fire extinguisher, mate. You know. It was big, bendy and pink. You could beat a man to death with something like that. So there we go. Thanks for that, Caitlin. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. So when you have... I
like the lack of anonymity on that one.
Yeah,
Get
ashamed. When we have a pickup truck, we get asked to do favours, don't we? So for anybody listening, I have a bubble car.
Anybody listening, he's got a pickup truck for hire. Little one I jotted down here, which it follows on from something we said on the podcast. What was it, podcast? Bike water bottle was something like a hydration system. Something like that,
yeah. Oh, that annoyed me.
Another one that I saw on some shit that our last buys. It was basically, I'm going to sum it up. It was moisturiser, right? Skincare management system. Makes you want to puke, doesn't it?
But people buy into this shit.
That's mine.
Do you know what, right? The other one is, I used to have this mate, he bought a trailer tent. I've not seen him for years. He was a bit of a knob. He bought a trailer tent. This particular brand, I can't remember what the brand was. They called their trailer tents folding campers.
Right.
It was a trailer tent.
Yeah.
Right. But because they called it a folding camper, he got it into his head that a folding camper was a different thing to a trailer tent. So when people say, "Oh, I like your trailer tent," that'd be nice this summer, won't it? Folding camper, and it just got to the stage where I think every time I'm looking like, "You bellend, fucking shut up."
Did he give a reason, a distinct difference between?
No. It's because he bought into their marketing.
Yeah.
It's a folding camper. It's not a trailer tent. Shut up.
That's twatting
You know.
him,
Yeah,
right?
it was bellendery.
Yeah.
I've not spoken to him for years. I ain't that bothered.
Now I've got a bit of a problem, which you clearly not going to have, because you've got a full head of hair.
I'm hairy.
Yeah.
I am a Yeti.
For those of you that don't know us in person, I'm the one on the right. Okay, Tony's on the left, and I'm going to
My lefty, your lefty.
I'm going to call this phantom hair. You know, phantom limbs, like they itch and they can't scratch the itch and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you haven't got hair, but you still comb. Is that what you're telling us?
I don't comb it, but the little bit of hair that I've got, let's call it short back and sides, shall we? I still put the shampoo on my hand and I start on top of my head. This is something.
What is it? Muscle memory.
This is something that's dawned on me. So basically, I start by polishing my dome, and then I carry on down to my short back and sides where I actually have some hair. And then I thought, why am I doing this? Because I'm sure that I'd be better off soaping my dome than shampooing. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think you're being that weird. I've got lots of hair. I know we're not talking just on my head, on my face, my back, my chest, my arms, my legs. I'm hairy.
She's got lovely hair.
I am.
Not on her head, all down her back.
You know, my legs are like a goat. And I've even got cloven hooves. You know, I'm more animal than man in some ways. And I shampoo my body hair as well. I use shampoo. I shampoo my pubes. So I don't know. Email in. Do you shampoo your pube, or am I just weird?
Do you phantom hair like me, or do you just wash your face with soap and then carry on up to your dome?
I don't know.
How's that work?
I've been having some trouble with my dome recently, my head, and it's one of them weird things. I mean, we've been talking a lot, me and you, about our aches and pains and our old injuries and things recently. But years and years and years ago, my mate were doing a bit of welding for me. Obviously, you don't look at your weld, so he was welding. As soon as he started welding, I turned my head to look away. A splatter. We're going back here. This is 20 years ago. A splatter came off the weld and hit me on the back of the head and burnt me. Right. It healed, over time, thing. But every now and then, that burn sometimes gets like a bit of dry skin. It's just one of those things. It's a scar. It's scar tissue, and sometimes I get a bit of dry skin there. I can go for years, and then all of a sudden it comes back. Right. And just recently it's come back, and it's been annoying me something coming, and I itched it, and it bled. And it's like I've got a bloody wound on the back of my head at the moment, and it's like one of them things. I just keep catching it and annoying me, things like that. This week, it just seems to be one of those things where my body's just deciding to go all spazzy on me. Like I fitting some floorboards, I managed to drill through my finger. That got infected. I've never got infection in a wound before or anything like that. Just why? I woke up with a lump on the back of my head, underneath the base of my skull. I think I've done it by carrying big timbers on my shoulder, but I don't remember banging it or hurting myself or anything like that. I just keep waking up with new injuries.
Is this an age thing?
I don't know. I think it's got to be an age. Do you know what? You used to think, the thing is that a few weeks ago, I sprained my ankle.
Asleep.
I don't know how I sprained my ankle. I woke up and could suddenly no longer weight bear on the ankle, and I've had a rough. The problem is they say, don't they? Oh, you need to give it some rest. Well, unfortunately, I've got work to do. I can't rest. I can't. The world doesn't stop just because I'm not feeling it. Unfortunately, I've just got to soldier on and endure this. It's still hurting now, right? 2 to 3 weeks later. When I was a kid, if you twisted your ankle, when I was young, you were right as rain within a few hours.
Yeah. matter of minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 17, because this is actually a bit of evidence that it's not an age thing. I was 17, driver's mate at Ripondin District. There we go. That's how old I was.
Yeah.
And I woke up in the morning, and I'd knackered my neck up sleeping. Must have slept on it funny somehow. But I literally couldn't get my head off the pillow. It hurt that much. And this is before mobile phones.
Yeah.
And I had an attic bedroom in my mum's house.
Oh, God.
And I'm laid there on my side. Absolutely. Just lit up pain, you know. I can't move here. My alarm's going off, so it's 6:30 in the morning. Long story short, I nearly got sacked because I couldn't get to phone to ring in.
Oh, wow, yeah. they were different times, weren't they?
Yeah.
You
know, I'm laid there. Oh, Jesus.
A lot of our younger listeners won't remember a time where your phone were attached at wall by a wire.
Yeah, on another floor. Yeah. So yeah, I nearly got sacked by John Cannon after I rung him finally. I rung him about 8 o'clock. I think, to be honest, look, from his point of view, we're a 17-year-old kid that just rung in 8 o'clock, pretended to be sick because she had slept in. That's what it sounded like to him, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
You don't get much sympathy in them days.
No, not at all.
You know.
No. I think it was something along the lines of, it's not a fucking holiday camp where it came back at me with.
Yeah.
You know, you don't come and go when you feel like it. But, yeah, if he'd seen me at 6:30, he'd have definitely believed me. And I ended up having a couple of days off with that. A couple of weeks ago, it was Chinese New Year. And kids were learning about it at school and having a read about it.
What year are we on now then? Chinese New Year. Year of the what?
Year of the
ferret.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know.
Jack Russell.
Yeah.
Trying to get kids into doing jobs and stuff like that in the house, you know. And they're 8 and 10, so it's hard work. But I says to him, we've shown him how to empty washing machine, to dryer, and you know. So I says to him, go get clothes from bathroom floor, because they've got a floor wardrobe in bathroom, you know, as they do. Fetch them all down, sort them out, colours, whites, put them in washer. And my young one went, but it's Chinese New Year.
But he's not Chinese.
And I went, and he went, aren't I part Chinese?
Well, he's not though, is he?
He is.
Is he?
He is. We reckon he's about a 16th Chinese when we look back.
All right, okay.
Because our lass is Thai.
I know she's Thai, yeah.
And she's got relatives that came from China to Thailand.
All right, okay.
Several generations ago.
Right. It's like this is a weak excuse. This is bordering on the lines of, yeah, sorry, I can't do that. I'm out walking my boyfriend on a leash. Kind of excuse, isn't it? You know.
And I said to him, so what if you are? And he went, well, Chinese are not supposed to do any cleaning on New Year because it washes away all your good luck and wealth or something along them lines. So I says, well,
is that true? Something in the back of my mind tells me that's not true.
Well, I had a better solution to this. I says, how about you can't play Roblox till it's done? It got done. Right sharp.
Oh, hi.
I thought, you little bugger.
Yeah.
Chinese. I'm 16th Chinese.
To be fair, could have been better. You could have said, do us a favour, pick up those clothes on the bathroom floor, sort them all out, bring them down, and you'd have got...
Is it your youngest one that does that?
It is.
Yeah,
I'm failing as a parent, you know.
A little story from me grandparents.
Are they listeners?
Unfortunately, they've both passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But my granddad took up driving quite late in life. Well, took up driving quite late in life. He drove when he was younger. And then, let's see, I'd have been about 20. So he'd have been late 60s. He says, because they moved up to Old Town above Ebden Bridge, and you're just near nothing.
Yeah, my grandma lived there for a long time.
There's a bus every second month, I think it is, and you know, it's hard work. So he says, I'm going to have to drive since I'm up here. So he took up driving again. And that was fine. As long as you didn't get in car with him, that were great, because he were just terrifying. And one thing, he always had shit cars. He'd only give 500 quid for a car, you know. And I've generally had fairly nice cars. I'd rather buy an older, nicer car than a newer piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it were quite nice to occasionally drive his car and just appreciate how nice your car was compared with his. But one time they went to Tesco's at King Cross there. And normal, they went shopping, and as they walked out at doors to go back to the car, somebody shouts out, "They're nicking cars!" So somehow, in my nana's mind, that's their car. Because they can't find their car when they start looking.
So
Now,
they're assuming that their banger's been nicked.
they're Maestro.
Yeah. Oh, is it a mic? Yeah. Oh, they were awful, weren't they?
At the time, it was most of a Maestro. I say most because God, it rusted. And they have a look around car park. They can't find their car, and oh bloody hell, that's no good. And report it to police, and police come and take all details, and car don't turn up. Now nobody's bricking a Maestro for parts, are they? You know, it's not. It's not
going to end up as a ringer, is it?
No, it's not a Defender, is it? They get nicked and parts are worth a fortune. You know. About a week later, my granddad says, "Let's just go back to that car park and have a look for car." Someone's niggling him. So back they go, and it's there. It's sat in corner at car park.
They just forgot where they parked.
They just forgot where they parked.
You know what? Though I do that.
And you know, you think back and think, well, nobody clearly looked for that car. None of the staff must have bothered. Police haven't bothered.
Clearly not.
No.
Nobody's reported that a car's been there all the time.
Yeah, this Maestro's been here for a week.
Yeah.
It tickled rest at family.
Yeah.
You know.
So, email in dirtykimbassa@gmail.com if you've got any nice stories for us. And it might be that soon you can send us in a story and you get a mug.
Get a mug. Yeah.
A Dirty Kimbassa mug.
Stuff that rich people do, which is accepted. That when a poor person does it, it's frowned upon.
Well, the obvious one is 50 Shades of Grey.
I haven't read that.
Well, I haven't either. Right, but
it's a sex book, isn't it?
Well,
I don't know much about it.
I think it's a bit tame, really. It got a few middle-aged women a bit excited a few years ago, didn't it? But the only reason that's even vaguely erotic is because he's a millionaire. Right? If that happened on a council estate in bloody Buttershaw, it'd end up on Crime Watch, wouldn't it?
Is that what it'd be?
Yeah.
I don't know what storyline.
Well, it's all whips and chains and tying her up and stuff, isn't it? You know,
right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be next Shannon Matthews' story, wouldn't it? You know,
keeping them in. Yeah. Well, old cars.
All right.
Right. Your rich people have your, 60-year-old Aston Martin, and your poor fella. Well, my granddad has a 500 quid Maestro.
Well, okay. By the same suitcases.
Yeah.
Very, very rich people, the gentry, they'll rock up with some canvas and leather, shabby thing that they've pulled out of some house, some garage. It's got mould on the corner. It's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
You go on holiday with something like that, you're a scruff.
Yeah, it works, yeah.
Yeah. They do it, it's quaint.
Yeah.
Quaint and eccentric. Yeah. A rich man, if he starts behaving a bit weirdly, he's eccentric.
Yeah.
A poor man, he's a bloody nutter.
Daytime drinking.
I think it depends what you drink though, doesn't it? If a glass of wine with your dinner isn't the same as a
special brew
on a park bench, is it? That's the one, yeah. Buckfast.
Yeah.
Tonic wine.
One that particularly tickled me. Inbreeding. Because they'll marry cousins off to keep it in money and family and what have you.
Will they though? Do they though? I don't know. I don't know.
But you start trying to jizz in your sister's eye, and suddenly it's in news.
I quite like posh totty sometimes. Yeah.
Keeping people.
Yeah. What, on a dog leash?
Not on a leash. You've got servants to serve your food, and you've got people. You've got staff. Yeah. But Fritzl did it. Kept him in the cellar.
I don't know how rich he was. And he was German, wasn't he, or Austrian or something?
Yeah. I think he were a regular guy, wasn't he? So it's frowned upon when he does it.
I don't know. That's not the same, is it? That's not.
When you're a multi-millionaire and you've got people in the cellar cooking your food for you.
Yeah. Well, Lady Gaga, her dog walker got shot, didn't he?
I don't know.
Because they kidnapped the dogs.
Right.
Dog-napped the dogs.
Dog-napped.
Presumably because they knew whose dogs they were. But she had they did it at gunpoint, and in the struggle, he was shot. The bloke, having a dog walker. I mean, that's quite posh, having a dog walker. Because to me, idea of having a dog, although my lazy ass dogs don't do a lot of walking, can't be asked to get up half the time. But you walk them yourself.
Yeah.
That's part of having a dog. You don't pay somebody to do it. Although there's lots of like little businesses doing dog walking, isn't there? You know,
Yeah. Another one, rich people, ridiculous names. So like you've got Billington Smythe.
Well, this is a bugbear of mine,
double
Ben.
barrel.
And I've this is actually something that really winds me up. And it's not the fact that rich people do these double barrel names. It's when thick people do it because they think it makes them sound posh, right? And what is, they don't really get it. Now, the idea of a double barrel name is you're preserving two dynasty names, two family names, right? So, my name, Seymour, okay? Yeah, there was a Queen of England called Seymour, right? So you might want a double barrel name like that. It goes back to Norman nobility. I think Coulthard probably does as well.
If you listen to my dad, he says it goes back to cult herders.
Oh right, well,
so horse thieves.
I might be mistaken, but yeah. Anyway, but you'd do that. But then names like Greenwood. Well, often Greenwood's like, that's my grandma's name. They were like outlaws.
Yeah.
You know, it were a surname they adopted because they didn't really have a surname because they were poor. Or Wheelwright, well, that were his job.
Mm.
You know, Smith, that were his job. Right? So when you become the Wheelwright Smiths, oh yes, we're the Wheelwright Smiths now because you've got with your girlfriend and got married and you decided that you're going to be the Wheelwright. So she's now Wheelwright. No, she's not. What you've done there is you've basically taken two trades and double barreled them, and you've not really understood what double barrel names are all about. Now, I'm no expert in these things, but it just seems a bit of a pointless exercise, doesn't it? You know, like, and I think there's a bit more of it these days as well. There's the feminist side of it, where why should I take his name? He does not own me, kind of thing. Well, okay, you know, fair enough. Well, don't take his name then. Keep your own name, but don't double barrel it and be a cunt. You know, it's
I was thinking a double barrel in mine. Cholasin Sun Cram Chai Coulthard's got a certain ring to it, don't you think?
It certainly has. More than a mouthful. Yeah. But no.
Interestingly, though, her name, Cholasin Sun Cram Chai, is very rare. And the reason for that, if we turn
because no bugger can say it.
We could turn it educationally, I'll edit this out. Whereas we have knighthoods and you get Sir whatever.
Yeah.
In Thailand, you would get a new surname instead.
Okay.
So when you die, that is passed on over generations, and that name's retained rather than Sir So-and-so, which when you die, that's lost.
Yes.
So about 4 or 5 generations ago, our lass's relative got this knighthood or whatever you'd want to call it equivalent, and that's why she has this surname it's longer than the legal allowed limit for names. They have a limit of how many characters you can have in a name.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think it's 11 in Thai or something like that, and hers is about 17.
Right. Posh.
Posh.
I didn't know that.
She's lost it now anyway. Because I made her take my name.
There's a lot of different cultures in Thailand, and I mean, like the language, for example. There's things in the language that you'd say differently if you were a man would say things differently to a woman. So one lad I knew, in fact, he used to be at school with us. He was called Richard Chamberlain. He was a year above us. Do you remember him?
I don't.
He was a bit of an odd lad. He was all right though. He was okay. And he married a Thai lass, and of course all his Thai he'd learned from her.
Yeah.
So when he went to Thailand and talked, he didn't get it right because he was speaking women's Thai.
As a woman, right? Okay.
If you follow me, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but
well, they don't have the masculine, feminine like French does, for example.
Yeah.
Because that's just
overcomplicated, isn't it?
And my thing with that is, let's say you invent a doodad, right? Here's your doodad.
A new invention.
Yeah.
How do you decide whether it's masculine or feminine?
Exactly. Who decides? Is there a committee? You know. Anyway, in Thailand, they just end a sentence with a different word, whether you're a man or a woman, or the word for I is different whether you're a man or a woman, and that's about it really. There's not that much to remember. But if he's been copying her, yeah. She'd get that, yeah.
Now, this isn't just bitterness.
Go on.
Because they beat us at rugby. But Welsh. Welsh, the language. Okay. It's had a bit of a revival in recent years, and
I'm not sure it actually exists.
Well,
I think they may just make it up.
I don't think they make it up, but they haven't got any words for anything new.
Okay.
So, like, if something was invented after, let's say, 1800.
So a computer's a computer, anyway.
Yeah. So you hear him, and it's the microwave.
Fluent.
I am, yeah.
It's like there's a Welsh person in the
It
room.
obviously, isn't it? Yeah.
I listened to another podcast recently. She had a fairly strong Welsh accent. You know, Rod Gilbert, comedian?
Yeah, he's got a very strong Welsh accent.
Yes. His wife.
Yeah.
It's a bit sexy.
Does she do a podcast?
She does a podcast with him.
Yeah. Well, you've not lived until the Welsh girl you're dating talks dirty to you. Laugh, I nearly shat myself.
I'm just looking back at my list here now. The rich people, poor people thing. Ridiculous names, 2 surnames. Yeah, see, 2 surnames. I got another theory. When Tracy from Council Estate's giving them 3 surnames, it's because she don't know which one's their dad.
Well, possibly. But do you know what I also hate? When people give their sons or daughters, it's usually sons actually, but they give them their name and they give them a surname as a first name. For example,
it's awful.
Harrison.
Awful.
Right?
It's quite an American thing, isn't it?
Well, I think it kind of started over there. Obviously, you got Harrison Ford. That wasn't his real name. I think the reason he changed it is because there were another actor with the same name, and he didn't want to get confused.
Yeah.
So like that, so he changed his to Harrison. But when some lass from bloody Illingworth decided, and there's no worse, you hear it in Playground, don't you? Harrison, put that down. Harrison, don't eat that mud. Harrison, you don't know where it's been, kind of thing.
Is that your mother?
No,
No.
it's just some Haddon, some harpy from the school playground. And to be honest, you know what kid's going to turn out to be a knob, don't you? I'll be honest, if somebody ever comes to me with a name like that asking for a job, he ain't having one.
There's one at ours called Hunter.
Yeah, it's another. That was a bit of an American thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A bit of an American. Can be a girl's name too.
Mason.
Yeah, another one I don't like.
What's the other ones I've heard? There's a few others that are just they're basically
Chav names. Basically,
the surnames.
If you hear those names, you know that mum and dad wear tracksuits for not doing sport and haven't ever had a job.
And have a double barrel surname.
Yeah.
Now I've got something on my notepad here that you might be able to clarify for me.
I doubt
'Cause
it.
it's a bit of a pet hate of mine. When vehicles are involved, right? People start saying offside, inside, near side, outside, instead of left and right.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off.
Actually, it's funny. We're in agreement here. I think what it is, right. Women don't do this. This is what men do, and it's men do it to give themselves a feeling of professionalism, because that's how it's worded on MOT, innit?
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Right.
how it's kind of become mechanic speak.
Well, which is near side?
Well, your near side is by curb.
So it's not near to the driver.
No, and your offside is to the side, isn't it? Well, that's what I always assumed.
So it's inside.
Well, your inside is your inside of your wheel, isn't it? As opposed to your outside of your
I don't know.
inside edge, outside edge
Friggin'
of the
left and
tyre.
right.
Well, yeah, to me, I agree entirely with you. And it's one of those things that people, knobheads do it when they try to talk down to you. That kind of thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, when you get a mechanic who thinks you don't know what you're on about, you know, and so they suck through the teeth. Oh, it's going to be a big job, and you'll say, well, it's funny because I watched it on YouTube and it took him 5 minutes. You know, they do it, and I think they also, it's something I don't like because it's something that, and I won't say all mechanics because I do know some mechanics who are good lads, but it's something that some mechanics do, particularly to women. Like they make the thing sound more complicated than it is, because then it's like they'll get oh, you better just do it.
Yeah.
You know,
just,
and
it fix it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a condescending thing. I don't like it at all. So I agree with you on that.
Well, I caught a garage out I caught a gauge out doing this because I used to have road sweepers, and road sweepers are left-hand drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I took sweeper in to the garage with, frustratingly, a minor fault that I could have fixed myself, but I was flat out busy, so I'll just get garage to do it because it's more time efficient. And I pointed fault out to him, sort that out for us, there you go. And it was on the right-hand side of the vehicle. So he's jotted down in his notes, offside, inside, outside, whatever. And he's fucking wrong. Because it's a left-hand drive. So
Well, no, it ain't, though, is it? It ain't, because you still drive on the same side of the road.
The person that read the notes wasn't the person that wrote down the notes, and they assumed the other side.
Right.
Whereas if he'd have written down right-hand side of the vehicle, it's only got one right-hand side.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
he fixed
it's
the...
only got one offside and near side too, but I see where you're going.
And it had identical parts on both sides.
Yeah.
And he changed the wrong one.
Right.
Because of his offside, inside, outside, near side nonsense.
Yeah.
And the total inclarity it brings.
I agree with you.
And another
They're overcomplicating something that doesn't need to be complicated.
Yeah. Another one was, what was his bloody name? Brown. Somebody Brown. Rittenden District I'm going back to. And I said to the guy, just check my headlights for me. And I started it up, and he says, which one's not working? And I said, left one. Now bearing in mind he's facing truck.
Yeah.
I said, left one. And he went, my left or your left? I went, fucking truck's left. And he went, which side's that? So I pointed. And I went, that's the left side of the truck. Always has been the left side of the truck. And always will be the left side of the truck. And he says, but what if you're facing truck? I said, well, if you're facing truck, is it a fucking left-hand drive now?
Well, that won't make any difference either.
No. It's right-hand drive. Hence the steering wheel's on the right, and I'm pointing to the left.
Why are you so hung up on which side the steering wheel's on? Left at truck, still left at truck.
I know, but he couldn't grasp this.
Yeah.
For some reason, he think if you're facing truck, then suddenly left and right are reversed.
Do you know what always used to annoy me? Dodgem cars, bumper cars.
Go on.
Steering wheel were always in the middle,
Yeah.
and there were two seats.
I say you can take turns.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
I always thought it felt weird driving like that.
You pay your sixpence, you get 3 minutes, and you get a minute and a half each with you and your brother.
Oh, no, that's what it is.
That's it.
Yeah, and you weren't supposed to bump them. You were supposed to dodge them.
That's the name of them, yeah. You get thrown off for bumping, don't you?
Can do.
Tell you what though, if you get a proper head-on collision in a
so
Dodge,
you come out with whiplash. Some weight to them, isn't there?
Yeah, you know about it.
Whether you get your bump from offside or near side.
So that's my rant about sides.
Yeah.
It's frigging left and right, and I've done with it.
Talking about offside, don't start on offside, because I actually never really understood what offside meant in football.
I still don't.
No, I'm not interested either.
No.
So don't email that in. We don't care.
It's dumb animals chasing balls.
Aye.
And that's that.
Right, are we going to wrap up?
Very close.
Okay.
I need to put out a public service announcement.
Oh Christ, what's that?
As I mentioned before, I'm a train driver, and when you see somebody stood at the end of a platform, maybe in dark or whatever, it gets a bit worrying, because you think they're going to jump.
All right.
Right.
I think you care too much.
And problem is,
It's going to hurt you more than them.
people have started pacing platforms.
What do you mean?
To get the number of steps in, because they've got pedometers on, haven't they?
Ah,
So
fuck off.
Knobheads. They've started pacing.
If they have to do this, they're not working hard enough, are they?
Well, there is that. So they're pacing up and down platforms, which means they're not where everybody stands. Because let's face it, most trains are much shorter than most platforms. So, train generally stops near entrance or bus sheltery bit that's on platform.
Yeah.
But Knobhead here, he's down far end at platform, trying to get his numbers up on his pedometer. I think he's going to jump on that frigging train. So a public service announcement to people that are trying to get your number of steps up. Don't do it down in the fucking platform when a train's coming in, because we think you're gonna kill yourself.
Well, again, like I say, mate.
They're not working hard enough.
Maybe I'm a little bit callous about these things, but I'd sleep like a baby.
What's your oldest possession? And I don't mean something that you've bought from 1700s. I mean
Something that I've owned a long time.
Yeah, something that you've had, say, from new.
I don't know.
Because I had some clay models that I made at Barkisland Junior School when I was about, let's say, 9. And let's say I lived at my mum's, so I've moved house 1, 2, 3, 4 times in that time. And they've always come with me, and I kept these clay models, about 7 of them.
My dad made me a chess set. I've
Nice.
still got it. That's the oldest thing I think the thing that I've owned the longest of all my things.
Yeah. Well, I kept these clay models till about a year ago. We had them in living room, and I'm looking at them, and I'll ask. She's saying, "They're not right good, are they?" It's all right, nasty bitch. I was 9. You know, 9 years old, for God's sakes. If my younger made them now, you'd be dead proud of that. You know. She said, "What are you going to do with them?" I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "They're not really good enough for ornament, so you know what I mean." And to be honest, teacher didn't do a right good job of glazing them. He glazed about 90% of them, so the bottom bit's not done. So there was a face. Imagine if you'd laid clay over your face and then done features. It was kind of a bit like that. It was a bit smaller than a normal head, a child-sized head maybe, and that I'd made, and it had been glazed. And our lass picked it up. And I could. She was a bit critical, you know. She was kind of.
Did she hurt your feelings?
It's not right good. And then she dropped it, right?
Oh,
and it fucking shattered on floor.
Oh no!
And I went, well. I was mulling over what to do with them. I said, "So shall we just throw them all in bin then?" And she went, "Yeah." No sentimentality at all, you know.
Well, to be honest, I'm a bit of a bugger myself. And I'm sure some of our listeners can relate to this. When your kids bring artwork home from school. Now, I have got a few token pieces, gathering dust, blue tacked to fridge and back door and stuff.
Yeah.
But
you make others disappear.
On the whole, oh look, I brought this home. I usually give it a week till it's been forgotten about, and then it goes in bin.
Yeah.
Because they bring home some bloody shite, don't they?
I've got a theory that teachers are told to make them bring them home, so it's not so much on school bin.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
I think so. I think that's. But one of the things that they do is they're like, oh, bring stuff in to make craft. So everybody sends in the cereal boxes, the toilet roll tubes, basically, and then kids will glue it together with a slap of bloody paint and tissue paper, bring it home, and basically they're trying to fill my house with other people's rubbish. That's it, and that's how I see it. And I actually do. I'm ruthless. I get rid of it. You know, just.
Yeah, I can honestly say my lads have never brought home what I would call a reasonable piece of art.
Yeah.
You know.
Actually, there's Emily did a painting of a snowman, which I've kept. That's quite good, and another one of a poppy field, and I've kept them. They're quite good. Holly's done one of a horse that I've kept,
right.
But rest of it, yeah, that's nice, sweetheart. Once it's been kicking around kitchen for a week and nobody's said, "Oh, I've done it with it," it goes and
first time it falls off fridge, it's gone.
It vanishes. Yeah.
Yeah, my lads are not arty, so we don't get arty pictures. They do stuff programming wise and stuff like that are good, but it don't end up on fridge, does it?
That's all right. That's
great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Give it time. There'll be weird experiments appearing on your kitchen table.
There's already stuff coming up with.
Give them email address, pal.
It's a bit of housekeeping, shall we?
A bit of housekeeping.
dirtykinbassa@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Give us a like, give us a share on Spotify, iTunes and Anchor and about 9 others.
We're on them all now, aren't we?
It's clever, isn't it?
We're doing good.
It's clever.
Yeah.
And we've, I don't know, we joke about having 3 listeners, but we've had a couple of 100 people listening now, so it's more than we expected, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's doing good, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't think we're going to retire on it.
I can't see us doing it. I don't think I'll ever retire, to be honest. I'm too poor, so yeah.
Too rich for benefits, too poor to retire.
PayPal, Dirty Kimbers.
Yes. No, they do. What's it they do?
Send donations, keep this podcast going.
Patreon, that's what they do these days.
They do what?
Patreon.
I've never heard of it.
It's some kind of website that people send in funds for programs that they like and subscriptions and stuff.
Well, we could accept PayPal donations. Obviously, not that we type, but send them for friends and family, because we don't want to be paying fees.
We don't want you saying you never received a decent product and getting your money back either, because let's to be fair, you'd have a good defence at that.
Let's be realistic. Nobody's going to send us money.
It did have a thing on Anchor site saying we'll give you $15 per 1,000 listens, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah. Some kind of advertising.
I don't think we've had 1,000 listens, have we?
I didn't. No, well, at that rate, we've earned about $3, which I think's about £1.50 a minute, something like that.
Yeah, to be honest, it's. I don't think we've earned bad there.
We've done about £1.50's worth.
I wasn't expecting to be earning any brass from this, so that's a start, you know.
Well, for sake of £1.50, I didn't bother turning it on. I thought, well, maybe if we hit 10,000 listens, I'll turn it on, but
I don't think we're going to hit 10,000 listens in our lifetime.
At this rate, what we've been at now.
Nobody's going to want to listen to us. Like,
so we should just about hit 1,000 listens by retirement.
Yeah.
So there we are, end of episode 7.
See you.
Thanks for listening if you did. And give us a share, a like, or and a review. These things.
Don't give us a review.
If it's a good review, give us a review.
Give us a nice review. Don't.
If it's a shit review, just email it to us so we can read it out.
Yeah.
Because they're more entertaining than the actual show. So thanks for listening and take care.
Next time.